Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, back with Backpacker's Tip number 10, and this Backpacker's Tip is called the Buddy System. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you out there are thinking, well, the Buddy System's kind of overrated. I'm an adult. The Buddy System's more for like younger kids or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or whatever. You know, you're an adult and you like to be independent. Well, me personally, I don't recommend that you go out backpacking or canoeing or hunting. I just don't advise that you go alone. Mostly for the reason that there's plenty of opportunities for you to get really hurt or possibly even killed. Um, a good example would be if anybody's ever seen the movie 127 Hours. It's got James Franco in it, and it's a true story. It's about this guy named Aron Ralston, and he's a backpacker, and um, he's in Utah, in the desert in Utah, climbing through all these canyons, and he's alone. I mean, like there's a part where like he's with a couple of girls that he found, but then they part ways, and he's alone again, and he's climbing through these canyons, climbing over rocks and stuff. And at one point he slips, and the rock that he's climbing over comes down with him, and it smashes his hand up against the canyon wall, and it causes him to be stuck there. And he tries first he tries to move the rock himself, which the rock is pretty big, and with really only one hand, he can't lift it. And then he tries to make a pulley system using ropes and other climbing equipment, and that doesn't work either. It's still too heavy. But so he tries to move the rock, and then later he tries to chip the rock away um, with his knife. It doesn't really work so well either. So anyway, by this point, he's stuck there for a week. He's rationed his water. He only has one water bottle, and well, he has one water bottle and one water bladder. And if you've ever seen my other backpacker's tip called multiple water bottles, you wouldn't have that problem. But he rations his water for a week, pretty much runs out, doesn't have much food, and no one knows where he is. He didn't tell anybody where he went. So he's stuck there for a week, and eventually you start to see him go crazy. He starts to hallucinate, and he gets to the point where he knows he's either got to cut off his arm or he's going to die. Well, he chooses to cut off his arm because he'd rather live with one arm than be dead. Um, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, once we get to that point, you choose to live. And he did, and he's still alive today. But the point is, had he had gone backpacking with with someone else, or if he would have told somebody where he was going, which is another part of this, you always want to tell people where you're going, maybe he'd have both hands. Or, well, I don't know about that, because he didn't have circulation in his hand the entire time, so he probably would have lost his hand either way. But he would have stood a better chance if he had been with a buddy, or, just a friend. But there are plenty of other stories like this. I've heard many stories. One was like a guy went off with his dog, and he fell down and he broke his arm and his leg, and he was out there for like several days, and I don't remember how that one ended up, but I've definitely heard like, I don't know, 5 or 6 stories like this. Sometimes these people die and sometimes they live, but if they live, they usually are pretty severely injured. But always a good idea to have a buddy. We were taught this in Boy Scouts, and I go by this rule all the time. I'm never going backpacking alone. That's why I would really like to make like a 4-man mess kit so I can have up to 4 people in a group to go backpacking. But at least one other person would be great. Basically, the bottom line is never go backpacking alone, or never go anywhere alone, really. It's just always a good idea to have somebody with you to help you out, or you can help them out if need be. That's really all I had to tell you. Subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm RedneckMini14, and until next time, be safe.